Every high and crushing low taught me something invaluable: resilience. I began documenting my journey, recording every lesson and every step towards rebuilding my success and my mental, even if no one else was watching. I didn't know where this path would lead, but I had Frank, Rosario, and the memories of everything I built and lost, fueling my determination. What you're about to see is my journey, the highs, the lows, and every moment in between, captured during a time when I was all alone, but never defeated. I'm going to get back to being a millionaire. No matter what, I will make it.
Hey guys, so it is, let's go through this really quick. It is Monday, April 15th. You better do your fucking taxes. That's funny. You'll understand why in a while from now when this video plays, but yeah, do your taxes. Do your taxes, okay? Otherwise the government's gonna beat you up. Okay, that being said, in that little excerpt, that way the IRS knows that I'm telling other people get their taxes in. Where's Bitcoin at? Let's see. Sorry, I'm a little bit groggy this morning. Last couple days, I always get in this cycle, which is weird. I get in this cycle where, especially during busy times, like my mind is like full on, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. My shit gets fucked up. My cycle gets fucked. In that like my sleep cycle, like I stay up until about 6 a.m. and don't wake up until about 2. And it happens every time I like get super, not stressed, but just like there's a lot on my mind and I know I have to do stuff, you know what I mean? So that's when my cycle gets all fucked up. But so Bitcoin currently is at, come on, $63,383. It is looking to go lower. You can see within the last 7 days, this is what it's been doing. And this is us over here. You know, it's hopping up, and probably gonna go down to 50,000 before the halving comes, which is in 4 days. Woo! Doesn't really matter for us. Ethereum is at $3,096, $3,199. Interesting. Okay, so why am I making this video I think it's only been about a week, but a week later? Well, your boy might have a job. Your boy might have a job. Finally! So let me give you a little bit of the rundown. Yes, I'm still trying to help Frank with his documents and stuff. We're just waiting until, I guess, tomorrow or the next day to get more documents from the files and stuff, and so I can go through them. And hopefully Frank can pay me for it, but if he doesn't, I'm not expecting anything at this point. So that's how that is. Then recently I just got a job, or I pretty much passed the interview, but I should have this job offer coming through either today or tomorrow for AT&T over in Livermore, which I'm very happy with. Like, I was trying to, now it's a sales position, and I didn't even realize that it was a sales, like a manager position, but apparently they're having some issues with the store and all that other stuff, so they're going to work me as a sales, into sales associate, and then up to, a manager, hopefully after, a couple months or something like that, which makes sense. I don't know the products for AT&T. I'm not going to act like I do, but I know I carry a lot of work ethic, a lot of strength when it comes to personal growth, and so I'm fine with learning for a little bit less. It's not really that big of a deal, but I did top down sell. I did say, hey, I gotta start up here, And I kept on inching down. I said, okay, if you can get me this, and if you don't, then I'll settle for this. But in my head, I was already settled on it because I just really want a consistent job right now. But I think that's funny because it's like I'm even selling in my interview. Like I'm selling me having a higher position because I know my worth. But honestly, I did want higher, but I really can't be as picky as I want to be. And plus, it has commission along with it, which means that I'm still making more than the average person that's making only $18 an hour or something like that. So, while that's going on, so consistent pay is around the corner. The next week, I have a bone marrow donation. That's on Thursday, and then I'm taking, if I have to work, let's say the AT&T stuff goes really fast, I already told him, I said, hey, next week for 2 days I have 2 doctor appointments that I have to just go to. That way the next day when I recover, it's not gonna be I don't have to work on the day that I'm recovering. I really don't want that. So that would be cool to get that done, and I get my $450, which means I could pay my car and probably pay for insurance for my car, and then I'll be good on my car besides the headlight, which I need to pay, which is like $65. But everything would be settled as far as my general needs until Rosario comes back, because she's on vacation, and so I'm not paying rent. My general needs are generally going to be handled for the most part. So I'm not paying rent next month. I don't care. Like I'm not paying rent until we move, because I don't know what's going to happen, and no, I'm sorry. And I'm going to get enough money so that way I could just live on my own. But like, honestly, I'm done. I'm done living out here. Like, I'm going to help Frank and then just be on my way. And so that brings me into my next project thing, finishing the animation tonight. There's no excuses not to have that done tonight. And for the website, that's getting done. The logos are being done. Everything's going into motion. I had a really good talk with my investor buddy yesterday night, and that meeting went well. So no, I see big things, and like I said, this time around, if we end up making this token and it goes off, I'm not going to quit my job right away. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, keep hustling, keep working on the project until we hit like a $10 million market cap. I think that's when it's going to really like float in my head. But honestly, I'm going to take this slow. I'm not trying to go and become a millionaire overnight and just ditch all the responsibilities that I have. It just doesn't work like that. So the good thing is, if I'm still a sales associate by the time the project does reach, they can just replace me, no issue. If I'm a sales manager, well, it's a little, or like a store manager, a little different. I mean, they're gonna have to take it either way, but at least for me, it's gonna be better. Yeah, I'm driving too, guys. It's gonna be better that all of this is happening while I'm like on the low tier, because then I'm replaceable. And if I was a manager, I'd be less replaceable. What the fuck is all this? This truck is doing like hella smoke. It's so fucking annoying. Oh, hell no. It's causing cancer up in here. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I have to know exactly what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to achieve. And like I said, I can't really achieve what I want. What the fuck is this bullshit? This like truck is just blowing black smoke over everyone's car. It's crazy. I can't achieve what I want to do. And okay, so I also got to back up too, because now in this portion of the series, like I said before, we were halfway, and now we're getting slowly into the third, let's say, the third act of my journey so far in this series. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know if that's actually true, but I'm guessing it's like the third act, right? what you guys got to remember and realize is that over this whole course in time and stuff, you see me not want to do stuff or do things because I had to, or, you know, take on things, you know, and just learn throughout the process. So one of the questions that you may be having now, coming to the revelation that I'm only going to be paid $18 an hour plus commission, which is pretty much $2 an hour more than I was being paid at my low tier Verizon job, because there, even when I got promoted, I was at $19 an hour, or 19 or 20, something like that. But the thing you have to realize about this situation is that I needed a sales job. There was no other position that really suits me best than a hourly commission sales position, right? But I also didn't want to be like a $15, $16, $17 an hour guy, and I wanted to be somewhere that basically realized the potential that I had and could scale me in. And you guys might be like, well, that's really specific. You guys, you waited like so long and you could have had a job earlier. That's true. I could have had a fucking fast food job. But the thing is, I don't want to keep on quitting jobs. It's not my goal. My goal isn't to get into a job and hate my fucking life. You know, that's counterproductive. Is it not? To get into a job only for the money and not for the benefit for yourself, for your health, for the people around you. You want to be in a job where it's a growing opportunity, but it's also like it's beneficial to you, you know? And I know personally that throughout all my sales jobs, sales has just been a gravitational position for me. It just has. And especially with hourly and commission, not commission only, it has to be hourly and commission, because you need that backup. You need something to be a safety net. And like I said, I've tried, when you guys have seen the very start of this series or whatever, in like 2022 or whatever, that's when I found out that outside sales wasn't for me. It just wasn't. You know, maybe that was just a bad experience with no real plan or no real structure to the company that I was with. But it just wasn't me. Outside sales is a whole different ballgame. Not in the positive kind, but just like you have to be a different type of person for that. And you're really just like, you have to be a hound, right? Not give a shit about anything, and just like, that's how I view it. Outside sales is really just all about fucking, you think about money, you think about the sale, you don't think about anything else. And then to me, that's like a scummy type of selling. That's not my type of selling. There's different types of selling. It's not mine. So that's just me. I'm talking mainly about door to door. I don't want to give the assumption that I'm against all outside sales. I think there are some that are good and positive and have good structures, but my experience with the one that I was with just didn't positively impact my life, and actually made me like kind of not really like outside sales at all. Just knowing that that's part of the process, whether it's a different company or whatnot, it just wasn't for me. And so, but I come to learn all this stuff. I've made my own online business. I've tested ads. I've tested all this stuff to come to the realization that I need something stable, and I know exactly what kind of position and job that I wanted, and hopefully I'm getting that. And realize that I can make a business as well through crypto if I can have the support of other people around me, which is the investor buddy that I was talking about. And so, you know, these two things and also making manga. You know, making a manga is always cool, and I proved to myself that I can finish something. I can finish what I started, and I think that's hard for people to really comprehend, because not too many people finish what they start. A lot of times you'll have creatives like me that basically just start one thing after another, and never finish anything. And I really want to be somebody. I think something that I've been focusing on a skill I lack is finishing things, you know? A lot of times I make the excuse, and I'm not perfect, but a lot of times I make the excuse that I can't do that, or I can't learn that. Like animating, for example. Like, I can't do this. And so what I'll do is I will sometimes practice animation just to prove to myself, well, that doesn't look that bad, you know? That looks pretty good, you know? Things like that keep me grounded to know that, like, I'm not just a guy who directs, and I can do various things. Like, I like to say to myself, I can't model, but if I was really pressured to, I could probably whip something out. And it really just depends. I've never tried modeling on my iPad, but I also don't really have the time reserved to really learn some of these skills and aspects and really test myself right now. Right now, I've tested so many things, and it's taken so long, 3 to 4 or 5 months on each different skill or test that I do, that at the moment, I do feel like if I don't commit to something and enjoy something, you know, those two things have to be combined relative to each other, that I'm not going to be happy, and I'm never going to find something. And so when I started, you know, thinking about trying to redo Voyagers, and I spent the last 6 months, and notice there's a trend here. When I spend 4 to 6 months and I really don't do anything, I gave up doing 3D for 6 months. I gave up doing animation, writing, all that stuff for about 4 to 6 months for the manga project. And I noticed that when I give myself, you know, 100% of myself, or at least 95% of myself to a project, then I do two things. I finish it, and usually it's really well done, right? And so I've done that. I've done that for the manga project, and I've also done that, hopefully with this project that I'm rebooting, which is Voyagers. You know, I've spent the last 6 to 8 months planning everything out, making a PowerPoint the best I can to pitch it, finding ways to, and researching how to navigate, you know, what I'm trying to achieve and accomplish, and I'm doing that, you know. And I'm finding ways to bring my idea to reality. You know, one way or another, I'm finding a way to do it. And I think that's really important, because it's the process of never giving up that I hold dear, because that is literally the embodiment of what I represent. I don't give up, because if you give up and you succumb to that feeling of worthlessness, or that feeling of defeat, then you've already lost, you know? And so throughout this whole journey that you're seeing so far, again, we're only in Act 3. There's still an Act 4, but that's going to be like the up and up. You guys have seen all of my detriments, all my failures. I've explained most of them on here. Other ones aren't going to be as nuanced, but eventually I'll share those as well once, you know, everything goes well. And but overall, you know, the power of not giving up is such a great superpower, but it's hard. It's hard too, because you don't know what to expect. I mean, not giving up is great, you know, and having the world against you is a whole nother thing, but it's just different, right? You have to put yourself in a mindset where even if things are rough, you just keep on going. And that's, you know, that's the point of every hero's story, right? That's the point of every anime, right? You have a character that doesn't give up. And because of that, he gravitates people. He gravitates, like, all of these stories, these world-renowned stories and these really amazing animes and stuff, they all have one thing in common with the human psyche, right? And also kind of predicting what you need to do to achieve success in this world. And to achieve success, you need to have the mindset of never giving up. That is the whole concept of success. You keep on trying new things until you hit something that works, and keep going on that one thing that works. And by doing that, you end up in a self-fulfilling prophecy where, because you don't give up, you keep going, and things start to attract to you instead of repel from you, because you're of the mindset of the go-getter, of the hustler, of the person who's not going to give up their ideas and their dreams because they cannot admit defeat, and they won't admit or succumb to defeat. If you fall, you get back up. Those type of people, once you tame that mindset, you're unstoppable. There's nothing in this world that can hurt you, mentally. Physically, you might, get hurt or whatever, but mentally, you're stable. You might be a little psychotic, but that's a whole different thing, right? But generally, people who don't give up, people who just keep on going, they're usually the leaders, the successors, the kings, the people of this world that are of that higher echelon, that are thinking at a higher vibration. And so I want to put myself and situate myself along with those same like-minded people. And to do that, you have to just not give up, no matter what, okay? You might feel depressed at times. You might feel fucked up. You might be like, shit, maybe I could drink away my problems. No. You need to have, first off, self-control. And then two, you need to just not give up. I think one of the best practices I have, again, I probably said this before, is that if you are ever feeling away, or depressed or anything like that, put that into a game, put that into writing, put that into some creative outlet. Go do yoga, go lift weights, stuff like that. But you don't want to do something that's going to be physically harming you. So I don't know if lifting weights would be a great stress inducer. The only reason I say that is because when you put that energy into something like that, like, lifting and stuff, you might be, especially if you're stressed all the time, you might overlift and start to mess up your body and stuff. So I wouldn't say lifting is a great one unless you have really good self-control. But in general, work on yourself and put all that stuff into creative outlets is what I would say. Any kind of creative outlet, even if you're not good at it, go ahead and just do something. Try, pottery or clay or something. A creative outlet will mend. Let's say that you're more right brain focused. It will mend your left side of your brain. I don't know if that's true, but I'm thinking out loud. That's how it feels to me. It's like if I'm too much on this side of my brain, I'm thinking way too much. I can't focus. I can't focus on the art side. I'll go ahead and play a game. I'll go ahead and play poker. Poker has been really fun for me. Not gonna lie, if you don't have a gambling addiction, or if you do slightly, I feel like you have to have a gambling addiction to some degree. But as long as you're not a gambling addict, playing poker is really nice in a way, because you kind of have to think, you have to think in a certain way in order to be good at poker. It's not really about reading people when you're on digital and stuff. It's really about having self-control, right? There are some games that you really do have to have self-control, and I would recommend, I don't know what games there are, but I feel like poker is all about self-control. I don't really play it for the game at this point. I play it for two reasons. I play it because, one, it's fun. Three reasons, actually. Play it, one, because it's fun for me. It's like a mind game. Two, I play it because I want to prove to myself that I can be good at poker, just in general. It's, you know, because I think poker takes a certain amount of skill, but also, like I said, takes self-control. And you have to, you know when not to all in, because you might be very tempted to go all in, or you might be very tempted to play this hand, but if it's not optimal, then you will lose. Even if you think that you're almost like 99%, there are some hands that you just shouldn't play, even if you have some of the best cards, because you don't know what to expect. And so playing safe is generally gonna be the best option. And it's all about self-control. So I would say poker has been really nice on keeping me mentally, you know, just grounded and knowing my self-control a little bit better, and being like, okay, I need to wait. I need to slow down on this. I need to wait for this type of hand. I need to be more calculated than my opponent. And so it just, I feel like if anyone gets into poker and you start like really learning the game, and it's not a hard game to learn. I haven't even really watched videos. I got into poker based off of a tournament that I was having with another project that I was in, and they had like a tournament, and I was like, okay, I'll just join this tournament. And after that tournament, I got hooked onto poker. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start playing this. But later on, I started understanding why I liked poker a lot, because it was honing my self-control, you know, to a degree where I feel like now I'm really, really good at it, because I've been winning tournaments. And one way you can know if you're doing good is if you win multiple tournaments, and tournaments specifically with 3 people. The reason why that's important is because you're against 2 other people, and usually with the less amount of people, it gets really hard. With a multiple amount of people, you can do smaller hands or like bluffs and stuff, and not you still get that pot, which adds up with every single person. With 2 to 3 people, it's a lot more challenging, because you only have you don't really have a big pot, and so a lot of times you have to either bet more, which is more of your actual stash, or you have to, you just have to do more, I feel, than most people. So a little bit interesting. But yeah, guys, I'll keep you guys updated, and like I said, I think there's gonna be more videos soon. There's gonna be more videos soon, and hopefully, yeah, if things start going really, really well, then I'll keep you up to date. But right now it's looking good, and I'll have my launch on the 20th, so I think the next video is probably going to be in 5 or 6 days once I launch the crypto, and I'll keep you guys informed on that. So take it easy, have a good one, and we're in the 3rd act, guys.
Rabbits are just small dogs, okay? No one can tell me different. Wait, where'd it go? Where did he go? No! Come on, you can make it. Go up the steps. Go up the steps. They're trying to figure out how to go. So if you thought the video was good, please give it a like and share. It really helps. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see the rest of the story unfold. This project is so close to my heart, and your support keeps it going. Thanks so much. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time in the archives of a Shiba Millionaire.
The truth is that if people really knew your story and all the things that you've been through, they'd probably wonder how on earth you're still smiling. It takes a very special person to keep going. You know that, and you also know how everything is going to work out. You have decided what kind of life you really want, and learned to say no to everything that isn't that. You must be a huge success. Why? Because you've learned that to be successful at anything, and the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. You understand that 20 years from now, you'd give anything to be this age again. Now, if no one else is going to tell you, I am. You're hearing it from me. I am proud of you now.